We have Tropical Depression Mirasol was just named via Pagasa here, just off the east coast of Luzon, where it's expected to come on shore there around Isabela on our Wednesday morning before tracking across the Cagayan Valley and re-emerging out towards the Luzon Strait and heading towards the north and west, where it could intensify up to tropical storm, maybe even typhoon status. At this time, Signal Force 1 is in place across a good portion of northern Luzon, but I think the biggest issue here will continue to be that rainfall. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, as always, doing my best to keep you informed and educated on what's happening out here in the tropics. I never mean to hype or anything like that, but I'm always going to try to inform so you can make proper decisions. But don't forget always to check in with your official agencies. In this case, it would be Bagas out here for any decisions about evacuating or anything like that. All right, so let's talk about what we got going on right now. And of course, I know it's a new named tropical depression, and a lot of people may just be jumping on here for the first time and not watch the last few videos I've made here. We've been talking about this area of low pressure for several days now. Now, the forecast was for an increase in rainfall, and that is still anticipated. Just because of the tropical depression, you're not really going to be looking at damaging winds around the core of the storm or anything like that outside of local squalls. And that's going to be one of the bigger issues, especially for the Cagayan Valley, or even inflow wrapping in around behind the storm system for places like Palawan and into southwestern Luzon and even over towards Manila as it starts to move away. You can see here, though, this is by Wednesday morning coming on shore just there around Isabela and basically bumping up across the Sierra Madre Mountains, which would allow it to actually might even kind of ricochet a little bit around the mountains here as far as that low-level center is concerned, and then kind of passing just off of a party there in northern Cagayan. But that doesn't take away the fact that you can see here by Wednesday afternoon into the evening, it's rainfall all across a good portion of Region 2 and Region 1. Now, there could be a little bit of a break here by Thursday morning. You see here, just because as the winds switch in from the south, you kind of have the winds divert around Luzon here and even off on the east and west coast and even over towards the Cagayan Valley, but that will quickly be re-emerged with that flow kind of kicking from the southwest and that daytime unstable heating by Thursday afternoon all across the Cador de the Mountains and then down towards the Ilocos Norte, places like La Union, and all the way back towards Pangasinan. You're going to be looking at those showers kind of re-emerging. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Friday and the Saturday could be a little bit of a short break mixed in there too, due to those winds coming in from the south and a new storm developing well off towards the east. Yeah, a new typhoon likely here, re-emerging just around Guam, and then eventually entering the Philippine Area of Responsibility as we go ahead in the late week. And let's pull back the picture here. You can see our first storm, Mirisol, developing and passing over Luzon, but then quickly strengthening as the near southeastern areas of China, could even be passing near Hong Kong. But then look at, you can't really miss it, the big picture storm back towards the east. Now that one could be of concern. It's going to be a big moisture flow coming and wrapping in around it just like that. You're going to be looking at maybe that tight low-level center trying to form up, which could put it towards a typhoon status as it moves towards the west. And as this is still intensifying and not terribly organized at this time, it could mean it could even edge further towards the south. So for now, here's a look at the rainfall accumulation outlook here on the next 5 days. And yeah, you know, a good portion of Luzon, central and northern Luzon, is still going to be looking at that precip, not only due to our first storm system, but we're also going to start to see a bit of an enhancement from the next one trying to develop just like that. So as always, make sure you take this threat of flooding seriously out here. Waters like that can rise fast, especially when we're looking at totals 50 to 100 millimeters top plus over the course of the next few days. Yeah, it's just one of those things. If you see water flooded, don't try to cross it. Mirisol is definitely going to be a rainmaker. Local heavy squalls are also a possibility. As I mentioned, you see those rain totals there. Those are going to be in total, but there could be local squalls with gustier winds embedded within that. A new storm is also going to be forming towards the east of this, though, and that could be a strong typhoon by the weekend. So let's talk about that in a little bit more detail because, of course, everybody's got questions on that. Let's focus on the storm at hand first, right? But then we get a new storm out here, and you can see the broad convection just north and west of Guam. It's not terribly looking great at this moment, but It is a broad area of convection and instability, which the models are picking up on. And the GFS and ECMWF both are pretty much, for a rarity here, kind of on the same page of this strengthening and moving basically west-northwest here. This is actually going ahead into Sunday and Monday towards the south of Okinawa, east of Taiwan, and just northeast of Luzon. In fact, let's bounce over to some of our guidances here, and I just want to kind of go even longer range and just kind of break this down for you. So this would be the ECMWF. All right, there you go. You can kind of see the dates on the bottom of the screen now. And let's go ahead through Saturday into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. See right there, Monday off the northern coast of Luzon, right there. That is showing a pretty decent typhoon. All right, let's flip this over towards the GFS, right over Bosco there off of northern Cagayan and northern Luzon with the GFS, pretty much the exact same spot, and then it tracks it towards the west. So both the ECMWF and the GFS and the icon shown here, that's another model, all kind of indicating a large typhoon off of northern Luzon by Sunday and or into Monday. Just given the overall background flow with an area of high pressure just off towards the north, let's actually put up the pressure icons here, and let's even loop this back to Tuesday and Wednesday. When I say area of high pressure, I'm talking about this subtropical ridge right in there. Can you see it where I just drew the green line there on the top of the screen? So anything that wants to develop here is going to have a hard time recurving and kind of kicking back towards the north. So what's going to happen is kind of butt up against that and kind of move towards the west. Now, with that said, a weaker high would pull it towards the north, but a stronger high would push it further towards the south. And this is my worry, is the fact that we just had this storm system come through, right? Mirisol. And I feel like that would weaken, or that would weaken, or at least kind of create a trail, I should say, out ahead of this and enhance it to go a little bit further towards the west versus the north. What does that mean? I know that's a lot of, what did he just say here? I think, in my humble opinion, it means that we could be looking at a storm kind of coming a little bit closer to Luzon versus Taiwan. That's still kind of a 6-7 day outlook. We don't even have this formed up yet. It is still initializing. So I want you to understand from a viewer perspective that there is still some uncertainty here in what I'm saying. I'm just kind of giving you my analysis. And we can even see here, this is the ECMWF looking out towards next Monday, and you even see some of the ensemble members kind of bring it further towards the south too. That's kind of interesting. There's they all agree of development, but they all kind of look at this and go, okay, well, it either could clip northern Luzon or Taiwan, and I would lean more to the southern side of things based on everything I'm seeing right now. We'll see in 5-6 days if that comes around and I'm correct about that. But for now, I mean, central and northern Luzon is just, we got one storm after another here that's going to be impacting. So this is definitely something, a week of instability. I do think that midweek we could have a little bit of a break, but first we got to get through this first storm, and then we could be looking at the next one spilling in right behind it. So a lot of rain in the forecast, maybe some damaging winds in that extended outlook, but near term I think it's more about just the rainfall coming off of tropical depression Mirasol. Expect to make landfall here on Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. As always, if you want to support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, and a big thanks for all our Patreon members and everybody else that continues to support this channel. Always remember, though, like I said earlier, I'm not an official agency, goodness gracious, no. So make sure you know your information through those official sources. But and also the other one, I don't really note it too much, is that third one on the line here. Check and prepare your emergency kits. This seems kind of like duh, but I'm even guilty of it in hurricane country on the U.S. East Coast, is not having like all those important papers and documents and batteries and all that all kind of in one spot, just so you know where to go, just in case the worst happens. You never know, especially in an area where earthquakes happen all the time. My goodness, right? So there's just something to take a time today and kind of look it over and be smart. And as always, I think the number one thing, and I always say in all my updates, is be safe out there, friends. All right? I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. And yeah, thanks for watching.